Federal prosecutors have criticized the judge overseeing Donald Trump's case involving classified documents in Florida. They argue against her suggestion for potential jury instructions, calling them based on a mistaken legal assumption. The judge, U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon, had requested both prosecutors and Trump's legal team to come up with jury guidelines for many charges, despite the trial date being undecided. She proposed considering Trump's claim, based on the Presidential Records Act, that he had the right to keep the sensitive documents he's accused of having at his Mar-a-Lago property. This move by Judge Cannon raised eyebrows among legal experts and drew criticism from special counsel Jack Smith's team. They argue in their recent legal submission that the 1978 law, which mandates returning presidential records while allowing personal ones to be kept, does not apply to the classified documents in question. Prosecutors in the case against former President Donald Trump argue that the records he took to his Mar-a-Lago estate were not personal. They dismiss the idea that Trump had marked them as such, calling it a notion made up after it became known he had moved boxes of White House records there post-presidency. According to the prosecutors, no witnesses from their investigation support Trump's claim of designating these records as personal under the Presidential Records Act, PRA. They reported that every witness asked about this matter said they had never heard of Trump making such a designation. The prosecutors are concerned about Judge Aileen Cannon possibly mentioning the PRA in her instructions to the jury. They've requested that if she plans to do so, she should inform them promptly to allow for a possible appeal. This request highlights the prosecutors' ongoing frustrations with how Judge Cannon is managing the trial. The judge appointed by Trump, Judge Aileen Cannon, has not yet decided on several motions by the defense to dismiss the charges, as well as other disputes, leaving the trial date uncertain. This delay means the case, which prosecutors argue has strong evidence, might not be resolved by the upcoming November presidential election. Judge Cannon previously faced significant criticism for allowing Trump's request for a third-party review of documents seized during an FBI search of his Mar-a-Lago property. Last month, she heard arguments on Trump's motions to dismiss the charges based on the claim that the Presidential Records Act, PRA, gave him the right to classify the documents as personal, thereby justifying their retention. While Judge Cannon seemed skeptical of Trump's argument, she hasn't made a ruling yet. Shortly after the hearings, she asked both legal teams to prepare jury instructions based on the assertion that a president alone has the authority to label records as either personal or presidential during their term. According to this premise, neither a jury nor a court can question or alter such classifications. Judge Aileen Cannon's suggestion that a president's exclusion of certain records, labeled as personal, from those returned to the government aligns with the Presidential Records Act, PRA, is incorrect, according to federal prosecutors. They have strongly urged the judge to quickly dismiss the defense's motion to drop the charges, emphasizing that the PRA's definitions of personal versus presidential records are irrelevant in determining the legality of a former president possessing documents with national defense information under the Espionage Act. Prosecutors argue that the PRA should not influence the jury instructions or play any part in the trial concerning charges under Section 793, which deals with the illegal retention of national defense information. Donald Trump, the likely Republican candidate for the 2024 election, faces multiple felony charges for mishandling classified documents, including allegations of sharing sensitive national security information such as a Pentagon plan of attack and a classified map of a military operation. This case in Florida is one of 4 criminal cases against him, with Trump maintaining his innocence across all charges. In response to these developments, Trump's defense team has reiterated their call for Judge Cannon to dismiss the indictment against him.